Hi guys, Borjo here, back with another instance guide, this time for Castle Highhold in the Altar of Malice expansion. Castle Highhold's pretty cool actually, quite a few bosses with strats which you can burn through, but some that you might actually want to do the strat for. First thing to take note in this instance though, is these black balls that sort of hang above a load of doors. If you take too long to kill them, they summon adds, which I will demonstrate on this first mob here. I'm playing this on my Inquisitor in heal spec, with basic quested max hit point gear on, believe it or not, just to prove that it can be done with rubbishy gear, although yes, I am playing a healer, I'm aware of that. What you want to be aware of is once this ad dies, you want to go into this doorway here and run up the ramp. The longer you take, the more stacks of a debuff you're going to get from the mobs casting something called Set for Beam. It increases your damage taken by 10% and hits you for fairly large amount of heat damage. So you don't want to waste time, just run up these stairs and get them. There's two of them, one each side. Just hit them. I threw a cure here, but I didn't actually get hit with a debuff. But it also slows run speed, so don't mess about with these guys. Just get up the ramp and get them pulled. The bosses in here all have little things that they do. However, you can quite easily burn through. I'm trying to think how many bosses there are. I think there's 5 bosses. You can quite easily burn 4 of them if you've got masses of DPS. It's another one of those instances, though, guys, you're going to need healing for. So either bring a really good healing merc, or be a healer yourself, or chuck on some mending adorns, or anything like that, because there is unavoidable damage you're going to be taking on some of the bosses. So just be aware. It's much easier. Find somebody else to run all these advanced solos with. This one in particular is a lot easier with a second person. Inquisitors are great because obviously you can just skip the ends of fights, which I'll do a few times here. But what we're going to do when we come up this ramp, go right and kill these mobs at the end, and you reach a gate. Through that gate is the first boss of the instance called Waglock. Great name. He's a little gremlin. He has a couple of little things. Basically, every little percentage point of damage you do to him, he gains a stack of a buff called Blood Frenzy, which increases his damage. Not that dodgy, really. He also has a mechanic where he will throw his knife, which will become animated and start attacking you. When the knife is up, you will have 10% reduced hit points. And there it is there. So if you're just burning, you can burn him straight and he will eventually have both knives up. If you just want to minimise the amount of damage you're taking, kill the knives off. Then they have like no hit points. I quite easily burned it there with my Inquisitor, and then go back onto the boss. I was trying to work out percentages. Just be aware, the knives happen. You get the left knife, then the right knife, and then at 10%, he will throw them both at once. If you're with an Inquisitor or if you're with Stamper, you can bypass that last 10% completely, obviously, because you can verdict him at 20 or 22 or something. So I could verdict this guy, but what I actually demonstrate, guys, is I show you the 10% where he spawns both knives. Apart from that, he has nothing significant. Just be aware he's going to hit slightly harder the lower his health gets. Apart from that, it's super simple. I'm again using the 10-year veteran Paladin Merc just because I find it the best for threat. But if you're using Daron Ashenwing, that's fine. If you've got to use something else, it's all fine. Even if you have to face tank this yourself, the damage is not that big. In fact, I barely throw any heals in this whole fight on the Paladin. But here we go. We're approaching 10% now. You're going to see both knives, and then I'm just going to verdict him. There's both knives at once. I've now got 2 debuffs, but he's dead. Super simple. Super simple. The main thing to remember with this instance is once you're up in this sort of area, you're running all the way around. If you look at the minimap now, we want to head down south. It's the only way you can go from that room anyway, and you're going to get to the next corner room. This one does not contain a boss, it just contains a pack of mobs to kill. In the end, what you're doing is you're running all the way around the outside until you find the next boss's room. Not much else to discuss in this instance. Just be on top of cures on trash. Some of the effects can hurt, and beware of over pulling, which can be fairly easy to do, especially when you're back down in the courtyard. But apart from that, this instance is fairly simple and straightforward. If you're having issues with particular bosses, it's probably because you probably don't realise the strat, or you're not completely aware of what's actually going on. I was just demonstrating here. As you can see, I'm in quested Windjammer gear. I have one piece of yellow gear. I think I am wearing an old raid piece from last tier. This character was never geared properly, last raid tier. at all. So I'm basically walking into this, guys, with max hit point gear on from the quest line. So it's just demonstrating you can do the advanced solos in quested gear. As you should. I mean, the advanced solos give you the next step up of gear you require anyway, which is the yellow gem gear. So it's quite obvious you can do them. But as always, find a friend, do them together. Dead easy. Right. Head east. Sometimes you might get turned around and head back north, but the easy way to remember is you need to reopen a gate. So if you didn't open a gate and you ran through it, you've gone the wrong way. Head east. This mob you can see walking down the corridor now is a patrolling mob. It may not be here when you do this. It might be somewhere else in the corridor. It can patrol all the way from this corner room all the way to the next boss's room. The next boss is located in the southeastern corner of the map, and actually has a strat, believe it or not, which you can completely bypass if you're not that fussed. If your DPS is high, bypass the strat, why not? If not, I will go through exactly how to stop all the mechanics that are happening on the boss. But we won't discuss that until we get there. So if you're having trouble with any of the other advanced solos out there, I have video guides to all of them. In fact, this is the last one that I'm making, but if this is the first one you've watched, then be aware there are all the others out there. Looking to do heroic guides at some point. The heroic guides all depend on the group setup, because it's going to be a lot more editing with regards to wipes and things like that. Because wipes happen because we as a guild generally just smash our faces against things and laugh and have jokes and are generally fairly drunk while raiding and while grouping. So yeah, it doesn't go so well when we're in a heroic group together. However, this I think we've got one more pack. And then it's the gate at the end. You can see now, if you look very carefully, you can see the boss is actually standing in front of the door. When you pull this boss, you will be whoever pulls it will be teleported into the room and the door will lock. I have locked out my partner on this boss in the past. So make sure the boss isn't stood in front of the door. Make sure they've moved away. Click the door, go in and pull. First thing you're going to notice, there are boxes around the room. The burn strat for this is you can stand on a box and avoid most of the mechanics and just burn her. What she does, her name is Sadaq Telarus. The floor basically turns to lava. She will summon crap all over the floor. You'll take pulsing damage while stood in this. It's not that bad. If you stand on the crates, you're out of the damage. Easy. But while the floor is lava, as it is now, you can stop it by clicking this thing over here, which is in the sky, which is connected to the thing in the middle. So if you click that, it gets rid of the lava floor, and it also clears a debuff on you called symptomatic dementia. So I'm just referring to my note sheet. Symptomatic dementia. What this does is it decreases your potency by 5% per increment, and it goes up in 25 increment stacks. And at 100%, you start taking divine damage. This is actually an attack that the boss casts while the floor is lava, and it's interruptible. So if you're really good with interrupts, you can interrupt it no trouble. If not, don't worry about it so much, because you can easily clear it by going and clicking the sky thing. If you look at my detriments now, bottom right, I have 25 stacks. You can see the cast. It goes up in 25s anyway, and you can interrupt it. However, Wing and a Verdict finish it off. If you're having issues, stand on the crates and look around for the thing in the sky. You can take it. It's not loads of damage from the floor. As you can see, we just stood on the floor to finish that one off anyway. But it's a bit. My advice for this next area, head out, turn left and jump out the first window. There's a ball right there at your feet. It's just quicker. Kill that ball and kill. If you try and land on the left-hand side of it, you'll only pull this guy. If you land on the right side of it, there is a pack of gremlins, like 3, 4, 5 of them, however many there are. But we're quite close to the next boss already, and depending on how careful you are at running, depends how much trash you're going to need to kill along the way. You can see the gremlin pack there. So there's patrol mobs that patrol all the way around here, but just head across to this area. Now there's a pack in here of gremlins. You want to AoE these down as quickly as you can, as best as you can. Just be aware they do like to put a frontal cone AoE on the floor, which appears as a giant red area. Don't stand in it, or if you do, just accept that you're going to take some damage, okay? Kill these off, and then the next boss is available for pulling. You can actually... The red text just gone off there. It's a fire thing, but it's fine. I think it comes out the battle grunts, so if you want to kill those first, then fine. Otherwise, there are medics that can be in these groups, so it's a good idea to take those out too. So there's the red text on the floor, or red area on the floor there. Quite obvious to see. This next area is actually the armory, or the forge area. For if you've done the solo quest line, you know about this. The boss is in the far corner. My advice is grab him, pull him back to here, so you might need to make sure your merc is not assisting you while you pull. What you want to do is wait for this ad to run in like this and then run off. If you do pull like I just did, you're going to get him as an ad, which is just annoying. Right, this boss is called Shogra. And basically what he does is you get a debuff on you. You actually get 2 debuffs. The first debuff, it gives you a was it 25% chance to spawn a goo, as you can see here, every 15 seconds. That goo basically grants the boss 5% damage reduction. So the more goos you have, the less damage the boss is going to take. Okay, so it's up to you. If you've got high DPS, burn him. Fine, whatever. If you've got lower DPS and you don't think you're going to make it, kill the goos. The goos have no hit points, but if you kill them with the wrong damage type, you're going to take a huge knockback. Every experiment I've found with these has told me it's elemental damage, which is great. This is why we pull it to this corner. So if you get the knockback, you go flying to the corner. I generally found on my Inquisitor in quested gear with this merc, I could leave 1 up quite safely. The other effect, which I haven't spoken about on us right now, is ticking damage. So you're going to need some way to heal yourself of any damage you're receiving. So the damage isn't huge. Inquisition heals it fairly easily. Maybe Mending Runes does as well. If not, your healer merc will be fine. Be fine on this completely. But any self-healing you can bring is the better. Right, we've got 2 stacks now, 2 goos, and you can see he has 10 stacks of damage reduction. It's the first icon. So I decide to actually kill another one. Again, not with elemental damage, because I mainly do divine, amazingly. And there was the kickback. Like that, so it tells you you've slayed it with the wrong damage type. I've run this instance on my Berserker with a Warden player as well, and all the ads had elemental damage required to get the final hit, as did all the goos when I was doing it with my Inquisitor and this Paladin. Maybe all Fighter and Priest ones are, I'm not sure, I will have to do more testing. However, don't stress about them, they just kick back, and apart from that, this boss is cake. That's all he does. Keep the goos low, burn them off for less DR on the boss, and just finish him off when you can. There's the verdict, as normal. Head back the way you came. You're probably going to want to pull the patrolling mob that we see here. He actually has a friend who's patrolling the other way, and he will come at the same time. Reason being, you're going to be killing a blob anyway that's in the sky. You can see the ball there above the door, and they're going to add, so you might as well just off them now, and instead of have them add when you're doing the ball. And then we're heading on to the 4th boss, who's actually, I don't know... one of my favourites. I don't know. It's between this and the last boss. They're both really cool, in my opinion. Although the last boss can be bypassed by burning, so not great. This boss, however, cannot be bypassed by burning, and we will go through his strat when we reach his area. But first of all, kill this blob. Big thing, make sure you're in melee range. You might think you are because your combat arts are going off, but you're actually stood miles away, which is something I figure out shortly when I actually adjust my camera and see how far away I am from the Paladin. There we go. Actually swing at the ball. Inside this tower is where we want to go, but be aware there is an AoE pack inside this tower. Generally, it's another Grimling pack. I like to pull them out, but obviously I had the Paladin, so she ran in there, so we just killed him in there. But be aware there is also a mob just the floor above us right now looking out the window. You're probably going to get it ad when you AoE in this area, but it's not hard. As usual, finish them off, and then we're going to open the gates to the next boss's area. You don't need to clear all the trash. If you've read that somewhere, you don't need to kill everything in here. Nothing is going to add on the next fight. So finish off the Grimlings, and anything extra you have. This is where I was a little bit annoyed that I wasn't in my DPS spec and had less damage and AoEs to deal with these Grimlings, which was fairly annoying, but we make do with what we've got at the end of the day, and I just wanted to show that, although yes, I'm on an Inquisitor, which is a slightly higher DPS priest, it's still easily doable on this. Okay, so here's the last Grimling. I think I've probably got the ad from upstairs. Yeah, there he is, that one there, round the corner. Finish him off too, and we will... There's a panel on the wall behind me now. You need to click the panel to put the keystone in, and then click the keystone to turn it and open the gates. This mob is actually from the boss's area, the next boss's area, and it's a patrol mob, and I managed to pull it through a wall because that is how damn big AoEs are sometimes. But you can see the panel now. It's just next to my mercenary box on the right-hand side of the screen. I will click it. Well, I'm going to click it because I have to open the gate. So click this panel, and then click the center of the panel, There we go. To open the gate. It will open this small gate here and also the large gate in the previous room where the ball was above. Just there. So go through either. Now, there's mobs in the sort of top right and top left corner as we look this direction, as well as the patrol mob if you hadn't pulled in prior to that. My advice would be to definitely pull these and fight them, because if there's mechanics on the boss that if you miss something, you might end up flying into them and getting them as ads, and it's not fun. This boss, and I'm going to completely butcher the name as usual, is called Sadaq Sinchali. Something like that, anyway. And you will have to do the mechanic on this because the boss goes immune to damage. Basically, every 25%, the boss will teleport back to the centre of this area and then emote in a colour. The colour of the text will appear on the screen, so it might be green text. Balls will appear, red, blue and yellow balls. You have to click the two balls that mix together to make that colour, so I hope you paid attention in preschool. If you click it wrong, you'll get knocked back by an explosion. If you click it right, you'll get teleported into the sky. We'll see that shortly. One other thing to be aware of while you're on the floor is she will throw out Dark Lucelinite, right like this. Click it to remove it. If you don't remove it, it will just explode, do some damage, and knock you back. Right, here we go. So green text, green lights throughout. So green is obviously blue and yellow, and you go in the sky. The boss is immune to damage. You need to damage the platform that she is stood on to drop you out of the air. While you're stood on this platform, you're taking pulsing damage. The fall from this platform will give you falling damage. So again, you're going to need some way of healing you, or scouts, obviously, you've got safe fall, so I wouldn't worry. If you're using a merc, once you've fallen out the sky, call the merc off and then send to attack again, otherwise the boss stays in the sky with your merc. Lots of fun. And then it's just rinse repeat, guys. If you fail or take too long to click the orbs to go up into the sky, an ad will spawn. The ad will lock you out from seeing the orbs until you've killed the ad. So you've got ages. I'm trying to demonstrate the Dark Lucelinite here. And there we go. She throws it while she's doing the purple text. So I just demonstrate the Lucelinite will explode, boom, and throw you back. It's quite a good throwback. But as you can see, I managed to do that and still getting back and click the orbs in time. You have so long to click them. If you're failing, it's just unfortunate. Now, there is a slight bug with this boss. We've had it before where our DPS has been really high, and on the second set of balls, an ad spawns instantly. I mean, absolutely instantly. Kill the ad, and then literally just kill the ad, and then, oh, I missed that Lucelinite, look at that. And then click the balls and get in the sky. That's all you need to do. The ads have low hit points, so anybody can kill them, but you do have ages. If one randomly spawns, it's unfortunate. The last set of lights we get here are orange. It's always green, purple, and orange in an order. I misclick here and start fighting the boss, which doesn't do anything. So you've actually got to click, there we go, the platform. Fight the platform, you drop down for the last time, and nothing else new happens, and that is that boss in a nutshell. Click the orbs, click the Lucelinite, fight the boss. The end. I actually thought the boss was down here, but she wasn't. Her model shows being down, but it's still in the sky, so I had to call the merc off again, send her on, and then finish her off with the verdict. At some point. I've waited long to do that. There we go. That is the fourth boss. There is one boss left, and it is definitely fun. Go into the building and go around. You're going to need to clear another 3 trash packs minimum. If you pull any more, then they weren't required, but you know, you pulled some more. That's fine. Not much to say about this trash. Just get it killed. It's the same as any old trash. It's just trash. Generally, I train all this up to the top, but the fact I had less AoE than normal on this character meant I felt like I would just pull it separately. But the last boss is mechanic heavy if you don't have the DPS to burn him outright. And the mechanics are fairly simple, but a lot of people overlook certain things with the fight. I will go through it once we hit the boss room, so if you just want the boss strats, you might want to skip ahead. But this trash, it does nothing. If you see any mob with a name like Medic, Healer, Surgeon, Skin Stitcher, anything that sounds like it could heal, it does. So I would always advise killing them first. So I killed the ship's surgeon there first. We don't like mobs healing, especially in heroic groups, if you're all targeting different mobs. Always target healers first, guys. I'm sure that is Gaming 101. Kill the healer. Always kill the healer. Even if you play a PvP game, kill the healer. It's so annoying. Or lock down the healer or something. But once this guy's dead, run up the stairs, either direction, makes no difference. There is a patrolling mob that can occasionally walk past this area, but he's just gone past the left. We've missed him. And this is the last pack. And the boss is in, if you see the minimap, the circular room to the north. Now, this boss, this room also houses the end of part of the quest line, the signature line, if you're doing this for the sig line. So in the solo version, there is the mob you need in there. However, this boss will die once he hits, I think it's like 6% or 10%. He will get killed by the environment. His name is, I'm going to murder this name as well, it's a Gudral Blackhand. I'm going to say Gudral, it's probably Gudral, something like that, but it's Blackhand. He's there. Things to note about the room. There are these banners going around the outside of the room. On top of each of those banners is a Grimling that throws fire at you. Can't avoid the fire, it just hits you, but you might need to click the banners during the fight. So, fight near a banner, pull him over. Things you need to know. When he emotes or says stuff, you need to click him. If you don't, he's going to grow big and heal and hit really, really hard. The only time you don't need to click him is the first time he speaks after you've pulled him. There, you do not need to click him there. Things you need to know. He has a buff on him which says he can't be crowd controlled except for root. And you have a debuff on you that says, here you go, you need to click him there. What will happen is you click his sword away. Boom! And he says, my sword. Stops him healing, stops him taking damage. Anyway, talking about the debuffs. You have a debuff on you, meaning the further you are away from him, the more damage you take from his physical attacks. So be close. Other things. You'll have a trauma on you that needs to be cured. If it's not, it'll burn your mana out. If you get this red text saying you can bust into flames, click a tapestry. This will set them on fire, which sends makes you go back down to 0 on your fire debuff, which if you look at the bottom right, you can see I've got 2 stacks now. When it hits 10, you'll start taking lots of damage. But click him every time he talks. That should be your main priority, is clicking this mob. When you click a tapestry, one of the Grimlings will jump down to fight you. If you've got low DPS, you're going to have to make your way around the room and click all the tapestries until there's none left. Now, I think I actually misclicked that tapestry. I did. What happened was he started to emote as I was going to click it, so I had to run back to click him to stop him healing and getting extra damage. Now, if you're quite sturdy, I wouldn't really worry about the Grimlings that much. I would just focus on the boss, get him down. If you have a little bit lower DPS, focus on clicking the boss and clicking the tapestries and then killing the Grimlings. Once all the Grimlings are dead, he doesn't do anything else. Once you take him down far enough, he ports to the middle and the chandelier drops on his face. Key thing to quickly note about this chandelier, it's actually a collection quest. So if you're on this quest, always check what pieces of it you have already before you click parts of it to pick them up. I'd only got one bit, so I knew I needed that. But that's this instance, guys. Click the mob to knock his sword away, click banners, kill Grimlings if you need to, and then slowly take him down. Make your way around the room. That's it, guys. That's been Highhold. So, as usual, guys, with these things, if you like what you saw, comment, subscribe, hit that like button. Oh, quickly, to get out this instance, just run out back past the 4th boss I was and click the door. My name's Borgio, and I'll see you guys next time.